everybody, it's Adam Jorgensen here with Pragmatic Works, and we're back with our Azure Everyday series. And what I want to talk to you today is about how you can diffuse some of these BI time bombs that exist in our BI and data warehousing systems just by migrating that platform up to Azure. And so I'm going to talk about three main areas that BI systems can have some challenges, and I'll just talk a little bit about how Azure helps get rid of some of those or helps mitigate some of those risks. And the first is, if you have a very convoluted ETL, so if it's hard to change your ETL, if it's got really complicated business rules and nobody really understands it, a lot of times by moving to the cloud, we can take that ETL apart and move some of that processing and transformation closer to the data with something like HD Insight or Spark. We can do it in a language that maybe the business can use a little bit better, like R or Python, or we can just orchestrate it a little bit better with something like Azure Data Factory. So we have lots of options to help your ETL become a little bit more easier to manage, if you want to think of it that way, and a little bit closer to the data, maybe a little bit higher performing. Number two, if it takes a lot of time to make a change to your BI data warehousing environment, typical kind of request comes in, I need to add this column to the data warehouse, and okay, that'll be 4 weeks, right? If you have these kinds of things, that's a non-starter for the business. It's really very frustrating for them. And so by moving that environment into Azure, we not only can typically make changes more quickly, but we can make changes in other places. So maybe we only need to make a change to a model in Power BI, or we just need to bring that data into Azure Storage as opposed to having to model it all the way through to the data warehouse. So we get a lot more flexibility, and that flexibility allows us to take advantage of speed. Number three, speaking of speed, marginal performance. A lot of people say, oh, I'm okay, I'm happy with the performance of my data warehouse. If you're just, that's not great, right? The performance of a data warehouse has never gotten better over time. It always gets worse, or your perception of it gets worse. By moving those workloads to the cloud, whether we keep them as a data warehouse or whether we split them up, we have the ability to scale those on demand. We can predict when you're going to need more or less performance. We can manage your cost by not running them overnight or by scaling out batch processing. We have tons of flexibility that ultimately give you more performance and more control over where you're investing your dollars. We help hundreds and thousands of customers over the last few years think about their data strategy and migrate into Azure. We'd love to talk to you more about how to take your BI environment and move it up into the cloud. So click on the link below and let us know how we can help. Thanks so much.